this screencast I will cover how to conduct an ANOVA. An ANOVA evaluates whether there is a statistically significant difference between more than two samples. Therefore you can compare several means. There are many types of ANOVA, but today I will focus on one, a repeated measures ANOVA. This is when more than two conditions were used and the same participants took part in all conditions. A research question that would require an ANOVA would be, is there a difference in participants' grip strength across the 4 trials completed? A repeated measures ANOVA allows for the analysis of all 4 trials, to examine whether differences exist. Before conducting the ANOVA, you will need to screen the data to ensure no outliers exist and to make sure the data is normally distributed. Please watch the screencast titled Screening Your Data for instructions. Once you have screened your data, you are ready to conduct a repeated measures ANOVA for your variables. In this case, trial 1, 2, 3 and 4 to examine if any differences in grip strength exist over the 4 trials. To conduct an ANOVA, click on Analyze, General Linear Model and then Repeated Measures. This box then appears. In the Within Subject Factor Name box, label your independent variable, in this case I will call it time, and then input the number of levels. Then click Add, then Define. This box then appears. You will need to select your levels of independent variables, in this case trial 1, 2, 3 and 4, and click the arrow to move them into the Within Subjects variable box. Like this. As you can see, the box is labelled with the word time, which I chose when labelling the name of the independent variable. Next you need to click on the Options tab. In the new window, you need to select the name of your independent variable, time, and move it over into Display Means For box. Then tick the box next to Descriptive Statistics and click Continue. Then click OK to run the ANOVA. An output window will now include the results of your ANOVA. The table you are interested in is titled Tests of Within Subjects Effects. We are interested in the figures under F, DF and SIG. We are interested in the row Sufficity Assumed. You will need to make a note of these figures for when you report the results of your test. Remember, if the SIG figure is 0.05 or below, then the result is significant. If not, then it is non-significant. Just to clarify, that time in the table refers to the variable with 4 levels I added at the start of the ANOVA and therefore is termed time in the output. When running an ANOVA, the name of this variable will also reflect the variable you added. When providing the details of the test conducted, I would write, a repeated measures ANOVA examines whether differences in grip strength existed across the 4 trials. When concluding the results of the test, I would write, there was a significant difference in grip strength across the 4 trials completed. This is when you would use the figures you noted down in the t-test table as evidence for your conclusion. Using the table, you would report the results of your ANOVA as F brackets 3,189 close brackets equals 2.898, P equals 0.036. Generally, you would report the statistics at the end of your conclusion in brackets. The ANOVA also gives the means and standard deviations for your variables. Therefore, you do not need to do this separately. Remember, we tick descriptive statistics when running the ANOVA. It is worth discussing this. As you can see, the mean grip strength for each trial does increase slightly apart from trial 3. If you focus on the mean difference between trial 1 and trial 4, you can see that there is a large increase. This increase is statistically significant. You would report details of the test and the conclusions drawn from the results along with the statistical evidence in the results section of your dissertation. If you are feeling confident, then you can follow up the repeated measures ANOVA with a series of paired sample t-tests to identify where the significance lies. In this case, is the significant difference between trial 1 and 4, or is it between trial 1 and 3? Please see the screencast titled Conducting a t-test for instructions on how to conduct a paired samples t-test.